Tonight, a shortage of aged care beds in Whyalla reaches boiling point, and a reminder for Broken Hill residents to vote in the state election or risk a fine.
From our 7 Spencer Golf studios, your nightly news with Louise Hedger begins now.
Good evening. A Whyalla family has spoken of the heartache at not being able to have their father homed at a local aged care facility. State MP Eddie Hughes says the city is currently experiencing a shortage of beds for people living with dementia.
Patricia McCarrick knows too well the cruelty of dementia. Her father John was diagnosed last year, and a recent operation has seen his condition deteriorate.
Classed as being high care, so he needs to be placed permanently into aged care.
However, Whyalla's only provider is facing a shortage of specialist beds. Whyalla Aged Care Sultana Complex is full, while Copperhouse Court cannot take patients for 6 months after breaching Commonwealth laws. It means John has been shipped to Port Augusta.
He just says to me, "Trisha, how do I get out of here? I'm not free."
Eddie Hughes says a number of families are in the same boat. He's written to the Commonwealth to see if any temporary measures can be put in place.
Pull together to find a solution for this particular set of circumstances.
Federal MP Rowan Ramsey has sympathised with families and says plans are in motion for extra beds at Copperhouse Court.
A new 14-bed dementia wing, high care wing, which will be opened somewhere in the middle of the year.
In the meantime, Trisha makes a 45-minute journey to see her dad once every 3 days. The irony? She lives across the road from where he could be. John Hunt, 7 Spencer Golf News.
A member of the Darling River Action Group has put his support behind the Shooters Party candidate for the electorate of Barwon. Tom Kennedy says Labor won't get the numbers to win the seat.
Today is World Water Day, and fittingly the topic could make or break the race for the seat of Barwon. For the Darling River Action Group, water is something they worry about 24/7. The future of the Menindee Lakes, the state of the Darling River, the communities dying in the outback.
The National Party has to lose this seat, and what that'll do is it'll mean, as a community, we won't accept second best for the Darling River or the Menindee Lakes.
Mr Kennedy has put his support behind the shooters, fishers and farmers, Roy Butler.
Roy's right behind having local input into deciding the issues that relate to water in each of the areas, and I think that's a much better way than having bureaucrats.
When asked why he doesn't support Labor, he says it's nothing against Daria Turley, it's a numbers game.
80% of the vote is in the northern part of the state, and they support Nationals quite strongly, so they may vote shooters and fishers, but they just won't vote Labor.
Mr Kennedy says if the Nationals lose the seat of Barwon, they will want to win it back. That would mean working with local communities and making sure the river system is looked after. Patrick Royenke, 7 Spencer Golf News.
And a reminder to Broken Hill and Far West residents that if you fail to vote in tomorrow's state election, there could be consequences. If residents don't provide a legitimate reason for not voting, there is the possibility of a $55 fine. There are 9 locations for Broken Hill locals to vote, including Morgan Street Public School and the hospital. For more information about the New South Wales state election, visit the Electoral Commission website. Whyalla High School has marked National Closing the Gap Day. Students taking part in activities aiming to educate and inform on issues affecting Indigenous communities.
Out of the classrooms and onto the streets, Whyalla High students pounding the pavements for National Closing the Gap Day. The day recognises the difference in living standards between Indigenous and non-Indigenous people.
Inequalities between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians, and those categories are education, employment, health and life expectancy.
It started with a photo resembling an Indigenous symbol. The run then took place as students did it at their own pace. Information stalls were set up, while some took part in a traditional Indigenous ball game. Ms Callis says the interactive event will hopefully put the issue at the forefront of students.
Having this event is also a fun and engaging way, but also throughout the week we've given care group teachers activities.
And judging by students' reactions, the message is getting through.
It makes me feel proud to be Aboriginal, and it teaches me a lot of things I didn't know about closing the gap before. It's a bit more active and engaging for people, because generally you're sitting in a class, you're doing work.
John Hunt, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
New research into wastewater management could be the key in helping rural towns save money and increase the amount of reclaimed water. Over the past 10 years, Flinders University has studied the use of high-rate algal pond systems for treating water. The study finding a customised pond system to be more efficient than current community methods.
A better design, we've produced a smaller footprint, it's cheaper to construct. It's as efficient as the old system, and it also provides councils with a sustainable opportunity for wastewater treatment.
The government is now considering the project. A number of burn-offs around the Eyre Peninsula are scheduled for next week, aimed at limiting the spread and intensity of future bushfires. The burns are planned for several areas, including Lincoln National Park and Venus Bay. Planning has been underway for the last few months to ensure the burn-offs are safely completed.
To undertake prescribed burns under certain conditions, research has shown that we need to be burning between 70 to 90% of the vegetation within these areas in order for them to be effective.
The burns will be monitored and carried out by the local fire service. A Senate inquiry report has recommended a number of key measures for the future remediation of mines and ash dams across the country. One senator is advocating for the repurposing of ash sediment, a move which could create 500 jobs in Port Augusta.
Dust and ash whipped up and spread through the town. The events of 2016 and 17 were the catalyst for the topic of ash dam remediation to be included in the Senate inquiry. But despite being buried by dirt, the sediment from the old power station ash dam could have a new lease on life.
They ought to be doing something with it as they go, not simply putting it into a dam.
A Senate inquiry report into the clean-up of mining and resources sites has proposed the ash be repurposed.
It can be used for roads, it can be used for ceramics and glass, it can be used for concrete to make bricks.
New South Wales company New Rock convert power station ash into building bricks and tiles. Setting up an operation in Port Augusta could create around 500 jobs. Senator Rex Patrick recommending ash in storage dams remain available as a secondary resource.
I think ideally we should try and reuse the ash instead of just covering it up and hoping it goes away.
Other recommendations include Commonwealth support for such programs. The government now has 90 days to respond.
We want to get some responses to these recommendations as quickly as possible.
Garth Burley, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, a forum on the future of innovation across the regions, and Port Pirie preparing to host the town's first gaming competition. Welcome back. Port Lincoln Hospital's obstetrics ward has received a financial boost for IDSA donating $113,000 towards the clinic. The money going towards new machines to provide more extensive care.
More babies delivered here than any other hospital in country South Australia, now equipped with some of the most advanced medical equipment on offer.
Everyone's quite excited. It's quite new technology for us, and it's just allowing us to more safely and efficiently monitor our mums and babies.
Variety SA donating more than $113,000 towards the ward, allowing the hospital to buy an ECG transducer.
It helps us so that we can provide more hands-on care to mums. We can monitor multiple women at the same time.
Deb White from Variety SA says they wanted to give back to a town that's always supported them.
It's such a generous community here, and we like to work hard to see the money come back to those areas.
Doctors say the new equipment will improve care for mothers and their babies, with midwives being able to monitor them in the main office.
We hook the ladies up to our CTG machines, which will then be linked to a laptop in the room, which then sends information to a computer at our desk.
The hospital already looking at the future of the technology.
Down the track, the doctors will also be able to see a live stream of the monitoring and review from wherever they are in their clinics.
Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Regional Development Australia has hosted a forum in Kadina, drawing in more than 100 business leaders and politicians from across the York and Mid-North regions. A range of high-profile guests took to the stage to talk about exciting future innovation prospects.
Thinking outside the box. More than 100 leaders from across the Mid-North and York Peninsula discussing the future of our region.
get the chance to exchange ideas about how we think the regions are going and what we think is important.
Topics including entrepreneurship and innovation. A number of key speakers encouraging local government to foster new ideas for growth.
It's really important for a vibrant community. If you want your footy clubs full or your main street shops busy, you need lots of different aspects to your economies.
Enthusiasm towards untapped potential on show. South Australia's chief entrepreneur, Jim Wally, saying he's excited about the strong work ethic of people living regionally.
They probably tend to be a little more practical and problem-solving focused. And I think those are exactly the skills you need for entrepreneurship.
Leaders encouraged to look for employment opportunities beyond conventional means.
Understanding where we're positioned and the opportunities we have in collaboration, in being able to engage in the digital age.
The day's take-home message, all about building cooperation between regional leaders.
To help our regional communities come together and work in that space, I think is probably better done collectively than trying to do it individually.
Dominic Beaton, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Trackmania and FIFA lovers are advised to bring their A game to Port Perry's Festival Theatre for the town's first gaming competition. The event's set to give Port Perry's gaming community a unique chance to participate on a competitive level. Adelaide-based company Street Geek will be hosting the competition, bringing along 40 computers and 20 gaming consoles.
We'd have Street Geek from Adelaide coming up to Port Pirie for the first time they've done a regional event, and pretty much bring up all these PCs, consoles.
Gamers have a chance to win a prize pool of $500 if they make the FIFA finals. 7 locations in the far north are set to benefit from round 4 of the federal government's mobile black spots program. Regional development officials say it will do wonders for tourism in the outback.
The far north has its selling points for tourists, postcard views and natural wildlife, but quality phone reception is not one of them.
We've got a lot of black spots. That's not just even through the outback, but also within some of these, smaller regions here.
Mobile coverage covers 99.6% of the state, but for the remaining minority, the lack of connectivity can leave some stranded.
If you have a minor breakdown or something like that, or just, hit a kangaroo or something that doesn't occur in emergency, you've got no method of contacting anybody via your mobile phone.
But these issues could soon be a thing of the past, with 7 new mobile towers to be built in the north under round 4 of the Black Spots program.
There's a benefit for the people who live there. There's a benefit for the businesses that run on the ground.
Flinders Ranges Way and the Pitchy Ritchie Pass among the selected sites. The development's sure to be a big bonus for the 500,000 visitors that pass through the Flinders Ranges each year.
That means their maps don't stop, so they feel safe, they can ring back home.
So if you haven't got access to those while you're actually on those touring routes, you haven't got access to the up-to-date information.
And for those living in a black spot, you could be next. The government today announcing an additional $160 million for rounds 5 and 6. Garth Burley, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break, a preview into the Port Augusta Cricket Grand Final, and we'll have all the weather details with Britt. Wyalla's Ben Pengelly has been crowned Adelaide's best T20 player. He won the Darren Lehmell medal on Wednesday night. Playing for the Adelaide Cricket Club, he's scored 282 runs at an average of 47 and took 8 wickets as the Buffaloes reached the semis. Ben says the award was a welcome shock.
Surprised to get the win. It was a nice honour to received the medal.
It's a big week for the all-rounder as he prepares to take on Kensington in this weekend's Grade Cricket Grand Final. With the AFL Broken Hill season kicking off in just under a month, the local league is making some rule changes. The majority of new rules adopted at the national level will be enforced in the Silver City.
The countdown is on for the 2019 AFL Broken Hill season, but things will be a little different this year as the local rulebook gets an update.
And we looked at the 9 rules that the AFL wanted to introduce, and we pushed back on a few of those,
And we went back to AFL New South Wales and they accepted those pushbacks.
The Silver City Comp will adopt 6 of the 9 new rules. The ones left out, restrictions only allowing trainers and runners on after goals are scored, the play on 50-metre rule, which is already causing confusion at the top level, and fixed playing positions at centre bouncers. Some of the new rules, players will no longer need to kick the ball to themselves to play on from a kick out, and the player standing the mark will be 10 metres back and not 5.
You can now grab the ball out of the ruck, so if you've got big, strong ruckmen, you're going to be at an advantage, and they can then dispose of it. So we've introduced that rule as well.
Some other minor rules in situational play will also come into effect.
The umpires are told the clubs they're available to attend training, they're available to attend players' tees, and they're available to go through and outline these rule changes.
The first round of Broken Hill footy is on Anzac Day. Patrick Ryanke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
And in the last cricket grand final for the Spencer Gulf region, here's who's tipped to win in Port Lincoln.
Welcome to the Port Lincoln Cricket Tips. It's grand final week here in Port Lincoln and we've had a fantastic awards night this week. Ben Smith being the MVP this year in the A grade. Grand final day and it's Southern Air take on Tasmans for the 3rd year in a row. Going to tip my boys, Tasmans, to get up over the line. 3rd year try and we're going to get this one.
And time to take a look at what's happening with the weekend weather. Here's Britt.
Thanks, Louise. It's been another fine and partly cloudy day with maximums hovering up to 4 degrees above average. Port Augusta 34 degrees today, Whyalla 29, Port Lincoln 24, Broken Hill 38, Port Pirie 32 and Adelaide 31. The high pressure ridge over our region will weaken later tonight with a cold front coming through late Saturday and early Sunday. Southerly winds at up to 15 knots on the waters tomorrow with swells to 1.5 metres and sunrise is due at 7:23 in the morning. Port Augusta 35 tomorrow and partly cloudy, Whyalla possible showers with a top of 30, Port Lincoln fine and 26, Coffin Bay 23, Woodner 21, Corn cloudy and 34, Broken Hill fine and 36, Port Pirie possible showers with a top of 30 degrees, Clare 30 also, Cleve and Kadina 28, Adelaide 27. Looking ahead now into next week, Port Lincoln with a possible shower on Sunday, most likely in the afternoon and evening. Monday cloudy with a top of 20 degrees and much the same on Tuesday. Cleve showers on Sunday with a slight chance of a thunderstorm, fine Monday, Tuesday. Woodner cloudy on Sunday but looking fine into next week. Whyalla cloudy with a 40% chance of showers on Sunday, Monday and Tuesday partly cloudy. Port Augusta with a medium chance of showers on Sunday, a possible thunderstorm too but looking fine at the start of the new week. Kadina showers on Sunday, cloudy on Monday. Port Pirie showers on Sunday with a possible morning thunderstorm in the north. Clare windy with showers and a top of 24 on Sunday, but down to a top of just 18 on Monday. Broken Hill showers on Sunday, 31 degrees, but sunny again on Tuesday. So Louise, we've got a wet weekend ahead. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Britt, and that's your local news this Friday. We thank you for joining us this week. We'll have updates later, but until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.